Self-growth is so important in relationships if you want to continue to have a healthy, happy relationship long-term. And both of our journeys with that have proved very useful for us. And so today we're just going to talk about a couple of reasons why both you and your partner should be invested in some sort of self-growth journey.
Absolutely.
Obviously, no one's ever going to be a completed whole person, but that's not an excuse to not try.
So tell me, what's the first reason why you think self-growth is so important?
The first reason why I think self-growth should be a huge value for both you and your partner is because, life doesn't get easier. There's a concept in physics called entropy. Things tend towards chaos compared to order. And I think often we have this idea that, say, you don't work on your relationship, that it'll just kind of stay the same. Even if we don't consciously think that, we act like that's real. And so we don't put in that effort that it would take to have a good relationship because we think it's kind of on autopilot and, people treat their relationships like this, or their health, or their spiritual life, when in reality, if you don't work on things long enough, they just get worse. Like if you don't use your muscles when you're young, you're not gonna have them when you're older. And the connection that you might have right now, if you don't continuously work at it, it's the same thing. You're not gonna have it. It's not gonna be as strong as it would be or should be.
Yeah. If you don't use it, you lose it.
Don't use it, you lose it.
Exactly.
And so I don't know about you, but I want my life to be much better at 40 than it is at 28. Oh, gosh. But that doesn't happen unintentionally. Without living this intentional lifestyle of working on, your finances, your relationships, and your body.
And you're going to change no matter what. Right?
Yes.
And I think that choosing to be proactive and being intentional about it's going to set you up for success.
Right. Yeah.
Long term.
And if you're not intentional, whatever you're not intentional about, things will change, but they're not going to change in a good direction. You get to control what kind of change you have.
Yeah. It's kind of like a plant, right? If you don't water it, you don't nurture it, you don't provide it what it needs, it's going to die. It's going to change by dying.
It's going to, yeah, exactly. That's good.
For me, the first point that I thought of was, if we're Christians, and so if you consider yourself a Christian, you're on a journey with Jesus, right? And that means that each day that you live with him, you're hopefully becoming more and more like him, right? The more you spend time with him, you're becoming more sanctified. And I think that is not something that happens by accident, right? And the whole purpose of that is so that we become more loving people, so that we become people who draw others to Jesus, right? And like I said, it doesn't happen by accident. And I think that the closer you get to him, the more peaceful your life is going to be, the more that you are going to be able to have the skills and the fortitude and the strength to face challenges when life throws them at you, and the better your relationships are going to be. The better everything's going to be, really.
Right. Yeah.
And it's something that you have to choose, right? And it's whether that's through spiritual disciplines, right? And that could look different for everybody. But it does have to be, again, a proactive and intentional choice that you take.
Yeah. And for someone like me who am oriented towards being my best self and all that, but also this idea of being intentional about everything, also it feels so exhausting mentally in my head.
Yeah.
But you have to think improve everything by 1%, if
1
you're
millimeter every day.
Exactly. Yeah. And you don't have to be so extreme, okay, no more sugar for the rest of my life because I want my body to be healthy or whatever.
Exactly. Everything has to have moderation, right? And it ebbs and flows.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are aware of the things that they need to work at, but they get so overwhelmed, and maybe there's also there's a wall of just facing your inadequacy that's really painful for people. I know friends that they know they have to start working out, they have to start treating their bodies better, but it just brings up so much insecurity and pain for them. But again, it's what I was saying, things don't get better if you don't work on them, and that also includes your self-esteem.
I think I can relate to that because I think sometimes that I know that working out's good for my body. I enjoy working out, but sometimes if I take a break,
Oh, yep.
I get so much anxiety about going back to the gym. I don't know what it is. Like, it's just such a mental block. And if I don't face that or, make room for it and then actively choose to overcome that, all my muscles are going to go away. I'm going to be frail.
Yeah, I know for me, when I've taken a long break from the gym, the reason I'm scared to go back is to face my inadequacy of I'm not going to be as strong as I used to
Yeah,
be.
maybe that's that. Yeah, totally. I get
Exactly.
that.
But there's no way your muscles can get better if you don't work them. So it's easier to get over that one hump than to just live with a slow incline the rest of your life. Just get over the hill and it'll be much easier to go through the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Another reason why I think it's super important as Christians specifically be intentional about growing is because each of us has a calling that God has given to us. And I think no matter what you do, no one dies without fulfilling a purpose that God has for them. But I think how deep into your calling you go does depend on you, because the fact is God can use someone whose body is able and healthy more than he could use someone whose body is not. And God can use someone who is healed mentally more than someone who is not. He can use everybody. He's used me, and I have a lot of inadequacies.
It's just to what capacity, right?
Exactly. It's just about expanding your capacity, because it says that God has called each of us specifically to good works, like he has prepared good works in advance for us. That also means that there are some good works that we won't be able to do if we don't heal our minds, if we don't follow God's principles for finances, if we don't steward our bodies or our time well. And God will love you either way, no matter what you choose, no matter how far you go. I think there's a myth of I'll finally reach my full potential. I think that kind of also sets up a road to mental health, because you can never give 100% of yourself to any one area of your life. It's always going to be kind of a balancing act.
Yeah.
But I know that I want to get the most out of life that God has for me. And so that will include intentionality on my part.
I think that the image that comes to mind for me when you're talking about that is we're all vessels, right? And God is always pouring into us or willing to pour into us. Now, the capacity of that vessel or the size of that vessel depends on you, right? So you could have a small cup and God will pour and he will fill that cup. Or you can continue growing and be like a jug or a pitcher or a big tub, and he's more than able to fill that whole thing.
Right.
It just depends on how available you've made yourself to do that.
Yeah, and also I 100% believe our calling that God has given to each person individually, it does benefit us, but it's supposed to benefit everyone, And so I want to be my best self in order to, overflow the good things that God has called me to as many people as is in my capacity. I think everyone ends up spilling onto other people. Some people spill good, other people spill some good and some bad, and sometimes a lot of bad. And I think one of the big reasons why I'm so oriented towards okay, I'm going to become better, I'm going to be the best, is partially because everyone has been a victim of the crap that other people haven't dealt with or that they're dealing with really badly. And when I do spill over onto other people, I don't want to overflow my issues. You either overflow your issues or you overflow your calling.
Yeah, totally. That actually was my second point where
really?
No, it's great, right? Because it's true. I think that you're going to go through this life and stuff is going to get on you and people are going to bleed on you, and it's going to impact the way that you then see others, the way you relate to others, the way that you respond to situations. And you then have a choice on how you respond. You have a choice to either grow through something or you can let it tear you down. Sometimes when people bleed on you, that impacts you negatively, and then you are going to do that same thing and bleed on other people because you did not choose to heal. And that's why it's important, again, to not let other people taint how you show up in this world.
No, that's super fair. And my third reason to be intentional about self-growth is because, I want to do my best to see the world objectively, to see the world truthfully, and because the way we see the world is shaped by all our experiences, the good and the bad. But honestly, I'd say it's mostly shaped by the bad. It's mostly shaped by the traumas we've experienced at different times, a lot of times in childhood. But I think the more that negativity has shaped your worldview, like fear and abuse and all that stuff, I think that actually makes you see the world less objectively. I think that actually gives you a really cynical, victim-y, just, unproductive worldview that affects the quality of your life. And I think if you're intentional, if you're it just doesn't serve you. And it's definitely not biblical, because as Christians, we believe we have a hope and a future. We are victors in Christ. We're more than conquerors. But if you aren't intentional, gosh, what is wrong? Intentional, again, on healing those hurt parts of you, it's going to be really hard to see yourself, others, and your life circumstance the way God wants you to, and the way that's true. Because the way God sees things is the true way to see things, no matter what it looks like on the outside right now.
That's a hard one.
I suck at that still, but I'm trying to be intentional about such things because I think that it makes it so much easier to have faith, to actually have a good life where eventually your world around you actually reflects the belief and the worldview that God wants you to have.
How you view the world is going to impact how you show up.
So I saw this on TikTok where it was this feng shui lady, and there's not an endorsement of feng shui because there's a lot of weird things, but it is a reality that you could tell the state of someone's mind based on how they set up their space. And you could tell a bit about someone's character when you see how they keep their car or how they style themselves. It is real that what happens on the inside is going to come out and it's going to reflect that.
My room gets messy when my brain is messy.
Yep. And I feel so much better once my room is
in order.
It's nice and order. Oftentimes the change that you want to see in your life externally, you have to start that internally by changing your beliefs, by changing how you see the world. Everyone I know who sees himself as a victim to men, the government, their family, their friends, their workplace, they end up so depressed. They end up anxious. And there's 1,000 excuses in the book as to why, but no, it's true. It's because the economy is bad, so I'm depressed. It's because this is bad. The people that overcome the obstacles that you're facing right now, they don't think like that. They still have this, delusional hope. Obviously, if we are with Jesus, there's no such thing as delusional hope. It's just hope.
Put their hope in him will be put to shame.
Yes, unless you hope to sprout wings and fly away. But I don't know, maybe God's called one of you to do that. So who am I to say nothing? But it's very counterintuitive because a lot of times we spend our life reacting to the things that have happened to us instead of being able to have our own separate emotional ecosystem despite what's happening out here. There's a wonderful image where it's a waterfall is happening, but then there's a bird's nest right behind the waterfall where it's maybe crazy around you, but Jesus can give you peace, and he could change your mindset and give you hope and give you happiness, even when everything is crazy around you. And that's how I want to live. I think that's how you want to live. I think that's how everyone wants to live.
I like that image.
You've seen stuff like that, haven't you?
No, actually, I don't think so.
I'm
probably going to look it up after this.
Look at that.
Yeah. My last point is going to get a little sciencey, but I'm sure most of you have already heard this, but there's this concept in brain science called neuroplasticity. That means that your brain is always going to be capable of growing. And that means that you can always learn something new. You can, whether that's picking up a new hobby, whether that's learning to communicate better, whether that's doing a new skill or trying a new career that you feel called into. Your brain is capable of that. you should not limit yourself by saying, well, I'm too old, or well, I'm like, this is just who I am. Or someone in my teacher education program not too long ago, I think she like started her fitness journey when she was in her 30s. This woman has run like half marathon. She's done a high rocks, and she's like the fittest person that I know, like at her age. And I'm like, hello? And she has 2 kids. Like, so I think it just goes to show that you can make up your mind to make a change, and it can happen. Your brain is capable. Your physical.
Sorry, go.
Stare at the man in the mirror and tell him that he can change, because he's capable.
That's right.
And your brain's capable, and it has the ability to stretch and grow. Don't limit yourself. I forgot what I was gonna say. I'm preaching to myself here, because I think sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I can do that, or I'm capable of doing that, and I just convince myself that I'm not.
Yep. I get her to try all these new foods, even though she's convinced, no, I don't, no, I won't like it. Because you are capable of growth, right?
That I choose, yes.
It's true. You have to be the one to choose it. No one can do it for you, you know?
You can't force me.
No, I can't.
I'm not having takoyaki ever again.
Well,
Or ever.
What's the takoyaki things? Is that the octopus balls?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't like those either. That's fine.
It looks like it's supposed to be a Timbit. I would be so disappointed if I bit into that and it just tasted fish.
It tastes like fish and barbecue sauce, and it's like creamy.
no,
It's like creamy fish. But yes, there's so many people that they've just told themselves that they can't make a change that they want in their life. But it's not true. If you're still breathing, God can still do a work in you. Like if you've had a bad temper your whole life, God can change that at 70.
Yep.
That's not beyond him. But yeah, neuroplasticity. You can change. You can take a look at yourself and make a change. Na, 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 na. Make that change.
So we've talked a lot about growing, but we had to go on our own journey of doing that to get to where we are today. And if you want to see that story, you should check out this video that Dan's going to link right over here.
Oh, it's there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ow. Whoa.
I heard 30 cracks.
No, ow. My glute is spasming. Ow!
Check out that video. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.